the world still need fossil fuel? Can we meet the energy gap, energy poverty, and power the new world driven by AI without fossil fuel? The question is, how do we find the balance? Let us look around this room here today and ask ourselves a question. Have we done enough to bring the stakeholders in fossil fuel around this table to be part of the solution? Should we adjust our approach? And how do we create a win-win situation? These are important questions if we are to build a truly global coalition. The fact is, over the last 3 years, global energy demand grew by 7%. Fossil fuel accounted for 60% of that growth. We all agree that the world must transition from fossil fuels. That is not a difficult question. The real question is how. How do we manage this transition in a way that is just, rules-based, and equitable? This COP gives us the chance to move beyond simplistic slogans that imply the transition is easy or that there is only one path forward. It allows us to focus on how to make it work, grounded in science, economic reality, and fairness. To succeed, the world's energy system must evolve on two coordinated tracks. First, we must invest in the energy of the future. Global energy demand is rising, driven by population growth, urbanization, and new technologies such as artificial intelligence and digital systems that consume vast amounts of electricity. At the same time, hundreds of millions still live in energy poverty, and many regions face growing energy insecurity. If the world wants clean power to meet these needs, we must unlock new and innovative forms of finance. For much of the developing world, high debt, high risk, and a high cost of capital make renewables more expensive than fossil fuels. Without practical financial mechanisms, many countries will simply have no choice but to depend on fossil fuels if they are to develop. We need transition finance facilities, guarantees, and concessional instruments that bring down the cost of capital and attract private investment at scale. And we must treat technology access from grids and storage to carbon capture not as charity, but as a global priority. Second, we must manage fairly the transition from energy of today. Fossil fuels still provide more than 80% of global energy. For example, the International Energy Agency tells us that oil demand in a net zero scenario will reduce from about 100 million barrels a day today to 72 million by 2030 and 24 million by 2050. Even at these low levels, in a net zero world, the oil sector will still be generating trillions of dollars in wealth. So simple calls for new producers to leave it in the ground are in reality a form of protectionism. It is a form of protectionism, protecting those who are already wealthy as incumbents. A new transition must instead phase out the highest carbon, least efficient, and most expensive oil first, while allowing lower carbon, responsibly managed production to meet declining demand as a new system is built. we have to phase out the highest carbon footprint first. What is the strategy of phasing out the 34.5% of global energy that still come from coal? We must have a viable plan. We must have the least efficient phased out first. And that is the way we will get to the targets that all of us want to so badly achieve. But what does this require? This requires global rules, a carbon price that reflects real costs, the removal of fossil fuel subsidies, and competition based on carbon intensity, not legacy advantage. If we can balance these two tracks, investing in increasing the energy of the future while managing fairly the decline of the energy sources of today, then the transition will be science-based, predictable, and fair. None of this is easy, and it does not fit neatly into the narratives peddled by some. But it is only by grasping these difficult challenges together that we will get there. We have to get there together. We have to bring all the stakeholders around this table. We cannot get there by extreme position. We have to get there through a balanced approach. Let us bring all the stakeholders around the table. Let us allow a situation where we all win through a just program, a fair program, and a rule-based system. I thank all of you.
Obrigado.